And we are live. What's up, beasties? It's me, it's Triple B, your friendly neighborhood bearded book beast. Welcome back to another episode of Beast Friends Forever. Woo! I am excited tonight because I have on a very special guest, one of the nicest people and best friends I've made in the bookish sphere since I started. And he was actually my first live guest for Beast Friends Forever, which is very special. And now he's back. He's had another book come out since then. He is hilarious. He's very supportive of so many people, and he's very charismatic. So if this is your first time meeting this guest, prepare to be swooning pretty soon. I'm talking about my good friend, awesome author, Ryan Skeffington. What's up, man?
What's up, Chris? Of all the interviews I've ever done, you've got to be the best introer I've ever had. It's just the best.
I try, man. You guys make it easy. Now it's funny because the first time we did an interview, you had the long hair and the big beard. Do you remember?
Yeah, I was practically a completely different person when we first met. I'm a dual author now. I've written 2 books since we've last talked. So,
I know. That's awesome.
Life happens in crazy, extraordinary ways, and that's one of the reasons we're 5 minutes delayed a little bit tonight. Is the hotel Wi-Fi was not sufficient, so I took my backpack, did a sprint down the stairs across a couple parking lots. Now I find myself in Starbucks, just ready to hang out.
Oh man, you had to go across 2 parking lots? I'm impressed.
Semis, F-150s, the whole gambit. There's no such thing as a walkable neighborhood in Texas.
you got over there quick. That's impressive. That's pretty good. So yeah, so he's at a Starbucks. So if you hear any other people talking or anything, it's because he's in a place with other people.
It's just adding character to the interview.
Yes,
you've got background noise. It's like we're in a tavern, and there's barkeeps in the back, and there's roofians coming in and out.
We got live music going on. I love it.
That's exactly it. I just need a fireplace.
I know. I was gonna say that's the only thing that's missing. Let's shout out some awesome people that are here. We've got Cinna, Library on Legs. She is actually in the hospital right now. She's watching with us. Speedy recovery to Cinna. We appreciate you joining us still. We're thinking of you. And then, of course, we got our friend John Douglas, the mayor of Orc City. Hail Ryan. I agree.
Hail John.
And good old Chris Ritchie, the writing jester. What's up, man? And Gabrielle is here. Thank you for being here. We appreciate it. All right. And to everyone else. Oh yeah. We got Rosaire's here. Ro, what's up, man? Thanks for being here. We appreciate it. Audrey's here. Says Ryan playing Frogger. Yeah, that's pretty much what it was. Oh man, that's a throwback.
We can send out an updated thumbnail with me as the Frogger character.
Yes, I think we need to. Did you get modded by any fans on the way over here?
None here, but I was just in Worldcon. Apparently, I do have like a fan or 2, so that was pretty cool to see.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I think you got more than a fan or 2, my friend.
I just call them friends at this point.
That's true. That's fair. I'll take that. Oh man, so 1 year since we last talked. So first, before we get into the book, I have to know how is the are you still planning to run for governor of Oklahoma?
That is still the plan. We are currently in election season for this election.
Okay.
However, I won't be running until the next election. So what I'm doing is I am meeting people who are involved in the process, understanding the mechanisms of fundraising, campaigning, all the laws around it, meeting up with local groups, just chit-chatting with people, understanding their priorities. And so a lot of this is an exercise in learning for me.
Very cool. I'm glad to hear that you're still doing it. I got to move my screen so I get both your books.
Oh, I didn't know you had the other one, the OG.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Let's show these first. Ryan is the author of Lost Souls. Look at that. Look at it. And you think that's good looking? Wait till you see this one. Eternal Dreams.
Everything about book 2 is better than book 1, and it feels great and horrible to say that. It's like, how do you have a favorite child when the
Right.
second child is your more favorite child?
Oh man, it happens. It happens.
I know, but one of the beauties of indie publishing, because Lost Souls maybe had a couple hundred readers,
Mhm.
I can go back and change it, and the rest of the world will never know.
That's true. That's true. That is true. Are you planning to go back and change anything?
I'm thinking about it, and
Okay.
so with book 1, I really only had one beta reader and one editor.
Mhm.
But for book 2, I had multiple rounds of editors and
Mhm.
multiple beta readers, and so it's a much more refined product. And I want story 1 to be as refined as possible, because you can't get to book 2 and 3 if you didn't like book 1.
Right. That's fair. Well, I like them both, so I think they're both well done. But that's good on you. I'm trying to make sure it's always as good as possible. We got some more friends popping in here. E.L. Montague is here. I like that. The sci-fi governator. I
I'm a
like it.
fan.
Grifton's here. What's up, man? We all have a
What's
favorite child.
up?
We're just not allowed to say it out loud. Exactly. Exactly.
Mine
I
won't get
was
their feelings hurt, so I'm allowed to say that.
see. There you go. Well, except for Lost Souls, he's feeling pretty sad right now. So what was the experience like with book two? I mean, obviously you talked a little bit about how you had more more eyes on it, but just writing it before you even had anybody put eyes on it. Did you change up your process or anything? Did you do things the same? Did it feel different because you already had this world established? Tell us a little bit about the difference for you between writing book one versus writing book two.
Absolutely. And so the first thing that comes to mind when comparing book 1 to book 2 is I had the way that I wanted to tell the story already figured out for book 2. Um, Third person, past tense, with a limited viewpoint. So every scene, you are in the viewpoint of one character. And I didn't have that for Lost Souls, and so I was writing with a little bit of first, and then switching to third, and then limited, and then kind of doing some head hopping. And so a lot of book 1 was just getting it to a point where it could be readable by the reader. And because I had all that figured out by book 2, it made the writing process just so much more smooth, because all of my verbs were easier to choose because I knew what tense they were in. All of my scenes were easier to write because I knew whose perspective I was from. And
Mhm.
like you said, the world was built. And so I didn't have to do a whole lot of heavy lifting on explanation and exposition. So I was able to pull off of what I told people in book 1, and then really dive deep into certain aspects in book 2. Um, and so book 1, you get an overview of the caste system. Book 2, I got to deep dive
Mhm.
into the higher ranks of the caste system, and you got a whole lot more detail among that cast because you got more characters.
Yeah,
And so
a lot of
I
characters.
think it benefited from having the foundation built, and you got to do all the fun stuff in book 2.
I like that. We'll talk later on. I'll warn everybody when we get into spoilers, but you broke my heart in book one, and you almost did it in book two, but you gave me a little sliver of hope at the end, which I was getting ready to message you and be like, WTF, man. But you saved it. We'll talk about that later. I don't want to spoil it for anybody,
Mhm.
but yeah, man, I think it was excellent. Like I really loved the first one, but you did even better with the second one. I can tell, like you said, how you improved in so many areas, and it was even better. And I thought the first book was great. So keep it up, man. I'm excited to see how book three is. Well, and you got a novella coming out, or is it already out?
It is
Coming
in
out soon, right?
process.
Okay.
It most likely will come out in 2026. I'm going
Oh.
to try and delay the release a little bit
Hmm.
so that I can have my name kind of be in the media cycles once a year. And
Oh
so
yeah.
I'll have a novella out next year, and then book 3 will hopefully come out in 2027.
Nice.
I do really enjoy the multiple rounds of beta readers because
Hmm.
it lets me marinate on the plot and the plot holes and the scheming and the motivations and understand how the reader perceives these characters' behaviors. And book 3 right now is kind of plotted. Like the skeleton of book 3 from start to end is there, working through the timeline to make sure all the days and months and weeks line up. Because with this story being multi POV, I want to make sure everyone's actions act in accordance to their actual timeline. And then getting the, I guess, in-depth outline where I go scene by scene and I write beat by beat everything that's going to happen in that scene before I start drafting. I'm in that stage right now. So that's what takes the longest in the planning phase, is doing the scene by scene outline.
Okay, that makes sense. Well, I like that. I'm now, is this novella that's coming out next, is it after book 2, in the middle of the book somewhere, or is it a prequel, or is it something totally different in the same world? What can we expect?
It is a prequel that's totally different in the same world.
Okay.
It follows Pollux, who is
Okay.
one of the Titans that you meet in Eternal
Yes.
Dreams.
That's
She's
sweet.
a spicy
Yeah.
character.
I like that character a lot.
And this novella was inspired by Audrey Hopper, my developmental editor. She has a scene with Ixia in Eternal Dreams where they're interacting after a moment, and she proposed a dialogue change from I had written, I've been waiting so long to do this. And she was like, what if we change it to, I've missed you? And with that, you lay the foundation for an entire backstory between these two characters.
That's a wild switch. Just that one little phrase that changes so much. You're right.
Yeah, it changes in the way that I viewed it from an outside perspective, looking at Hollis or viewing Hollis, wanting to interact with them finally, to they have this long tenured history that's complicated, and they both are at two completely different points in their life in Eternal Dreams. So where did they converge? How did they interact? And where did they deflect for that one single sentence to have so much meaning? And that is at the Titan, essentially, training academy, or I guess the Descendant Phantom Training Academy, and that is her Titan founding story.
Oh, that's cool, man. It's awesome that we get more of that character because she's awesome. But also, just that's some cool lore for people to get, to kind of see more that you've heard it mentioned, but now we get to kind of live it. So that's going to be awesome. I'm excited about that.
A lot of people are a big fan of Eric's, and he is a part of this novella, and he'll most likely be a part of most of the other novellas, because the novellas that I've planned are all prequel Titan novellas for the 7 Titans. And he, as the oldest, most well-respected, well-renowned Titan, had a small role in forming who each of them were.
That's going to be awesome, dude. Very cool. Now, is it going to have your same cover artist?
I'm hoping so. I reached out to him last month, and he is freed up in November of this year.
Okay.
And so we'll start working on it in November, hopefully get that polished up, ready for maybe an April or May release date of next year.
Awesome.
One thing I'm going to try to do, because this is a standalone, and it's not dependent on someone reading Lost Souls and Eternal Dreams, is really go ham on the marketing. Shout out Chance Dillon, author of the debut novel Mercy. He put on a masterclass in indie marketing for a novel. And so I'm going to try and follow in the steps that he laid out, but with the novella, so that people can step into the world. It's a little bit lower stakes. They can participate in the story at 30,000 words or about 100 pages much more easily than 350,000 word trilogy.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's a good idea. He did a really good job with his marketing and getting it out there. And yeah, I think he's a good one to try to mimic. And I love novellas, and I think a lot of fantasy, especially fantasy readers, love them because books are so big and long, and there's so many long series. And when you get into Vela, you can just dive right into. And plus, it's cool because if they read and they like it, then they're going to want to get your books. So, oh, we got a heckler here. Greg VJ Terrell was told to come heckle. Who told you these things, Greg?
I have
Gregory.
it on good authority that he is actually a gem of a human being in real life. So don't let the internet convince you otherwise.
I agree. I agree. That is true. That is true. Thanks for being here, Greg. We appreciate you, man. So tell us about all your travels as of late. What have you been up to? I know you've been a busy man.
I have been. I feel like I live out of a hotel and an airport about half the time. So, with a recent change in my job, I was assigned a new area of responsibility in
Okay.
March. And that area comes with a lot of field visits. And so I'm traveling back and forth to Texas about 2 or 3 times a month. And
Oh,
so
wow.
since joining the group in March, I think I've been on a plane 38 times.
That's
So
a lot of time. That's a lot of time.
I am tired of it.
And
But
since when?
since March 1st.
Oh my gosh, man. That's
Yeah, and
insane.
there
You've
is
been
no.
Oh man. I've been on a plane in my whole life like less than 10 times. So you like tripled my plane riding in just the past couple months.
I'm learning all the secrets to getting through security faster,
Oh
to how to
yeah.
check bags faster, when to check a bag, when not to check a bag,
Oh,
when to bring a soft-sided suitcase or a duffel versus when to bring a hard shell suitcase. Don't wear steel-toe boots all the way to Wyoming because your feet don't fit under the seats because your boots are
oh
too big.
gosh.
So just those little lessons you learn from just doing something over and over and over again.
Oh, yeah, that's a good way to learn. Poppy's here, also here to heckle.
Howdy, Poppy.
They agree 38 is so many. Uh, did you get that sweet, sweet pre-check?
We did get the sweet, sweet pre-check, and I am about to upgrade to global services.
Oh,
Me and my wife have a trip to Japan
oh,
planned
that's
for
good.
later this year. So, first international travel this year. So, very excited for that.
That is exciting. Grifkin has a good idea for you. A little nonfiction book, Travel Tips for Authors, the book tour guide. There you go.
That's a cool idea. Yeah, I
That's-
could start working on how to go to independent bookstores and make sure I always have 2 or 3 copies of my books with me.
Yes.
See if they'll carry them.
They should. I mean, who wouldn't want those covers on their shelves? I mean, come on.
That's
Those are
something you put in the window to get people to come into the
Yes,
store.
exactly. Those are like the poster child for cover buys. I mean, they're just gorgeous, man. As I say, I think Greg was in Japan recently. He said it was
Oh,
amazing. So,
nice. I will
have you been there
to
before?
debrief. No, this
Oh,
will
you
be my
said no. This
first
is your first international, right?
Mhm.
Very cool. Yeah, I've only been to Mexico, so I haven't been anywhere like Japan or anything either. I want to go someday, so I'm excited to hear about your trip once you go. Is this true? Is this true, Ryan? What? Audrey.
So my best friend was getting married in Portland, or just outside of Portland,
Okay.
and so we flew up for the wedding, and it was on a Friday, and we were like, let's do a day trip to Seattle because Seattle's a 3-hour drive,
Mhm.
and so my wife and I drove up Saturday morning. I walked around downtown for a little bit and was just expecting to hang out with everybody who was at the con for like an hour. And then Audrey got me a day pass. I got to go into the convention and meet Greg, and I got to meet ZB Steele, and I got to meet
Oh,
Mike
nice.
Molman. I
Awesome,
got to
dude.
meet Nick Fuller. So it was really cool getting to hang out with people for an hour or two max. And then at the end of the night, after we had to walk down the stairs of the Space Needle because the fire alarm went
Oh
off.
no, that's
Uh,
terrifying. How high up
It
was
was
it when you had to go down?
90 flights, like 600 feet in the air.
Ooh,
So it was a long walk. But
yeah.
after that, we went up to a hotel bar, and I got to meet Kate and Love. author of Toothsucker. I got to meet Josh Walker, author of Song of the Sleepers. I read his novella, loved that, but he is from Australia, so to get to meet him, super
That's pretty
special.
cool. Yeah.
And I didn't catch his last name, but there's a gentleman who hangs out in the SFF Insiders Discord. His name's Jonathan. He's one of the most prolific readers I've ever met in my life. I think he's 18 or 19 years old, and he currently lives in Germany.
Oh, wow.
I think he reads like 300 books a year. He left WorldCon with, I think, 85 books.
That's amazing.
So WorldCon was a really cool experience, even though I was there for
here we go.
all of 2 hours. Thank you.
Putnam. Oh man, well he should have had about 87 books if somebody would have brought some books.
He does need to read book 2. He did like book 1, he says. He said the twist of book 1 caught him off guard, which for a man who reads as much as he does, to be caught off guard for any reason, I'm proud of that.
Yeah, I think it caught anyone who read it off guard. Definitely caught me off guard. It was well done, well done. I did not see it coming at all. I didn't even have an inkling that was going to happen. So.
It's hard to talk about Lost Souls because of the twist. They're like, how do you describe it? And I'm like, I can't say anything because it will ruin the climax of the book if I want to talk about the character journey.
Right.
But I think going back to editing book 1 and learning the process of writing, the main criticism, I guess there were 2 main criticisms of book 1 is I wrote the prose in my style, and my style was not 100% legible to all readers.
Right.
And so some people were like, it needed to be edited a little bit more. And I'm like, well, I wrote it that way because I wanted to. Going back, I understand that it doesn't flow perfectly, and so people get tripped up. And you know, I can take that feedback and hopefully improve upon it. And I think I improved upon it in Eternal Dreams, and I think it reads a little bit easier. So working to fix that. And then the other main criticism was the fast pace at the climax. Readers felt like they didn't get enough chance to marinate with the character, their change, the thought process. And there is a 3-month time skip in the book, and I kind of expected readers, or I had hoped readers would kind of understand that change occurred over 3 years.
Right, over that time.
I slowly learned if you don't put it on the page, they're not going to infer or connect the dots like you want them to, because they are experiencing the story word by word. They don't read the end of the chapter, think about the time skip, and then start the next chapter. They just go chapter to chapter. Right.
Yeah. That's fair. I mean, yeah, I get that. In general, that's going to happen. Yeah.
So instead of a flashback post-reveal during the big climactic fight, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the 3-month time skip be an actual character progression that ends in the climax of the fight, and there's no flashback. So the pacing, I think, ramps even further because there's no slow.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Now, if you change any of that, are you going to do how are you going to time that with the re-releasing? Would you just update it and let people know you updated it, or would you do a re-release kind of?
I would probably announce that I'm doing a re-release, and if anyone wants to reread it, I would send it to them for free via ebook.
Nice.
But I would use it as a marketing tool for book 3 more than other. And so when I release book 3, there will hopefully be a Kickstarter of a omnibus special edition, very similar to, I believe it is Threadlight by Zach Archive.
Oh man, that's a gorgeous one.
So another editor that I've added to my team is Rachel from Bard and Butter. They are a husband and wife editing and reading dynamic duo, and Rachel did the line and copy edits for Eternal Dreams. So I'm going to work with Audrey to fix the pacing and the progression of Lost Souls, have her go through the edits so that the edits are in her style, and then do the same process for Immortal Mother. So all 3 books will have been written and edited through the lens of the same people. So hopefully
Nice.
it'll read like a
Yeah.
cohesive Brandon Sanderson tome of the book.
I like that, man. I'm excited. I mean, if your regular books look this good, I can only imagine what you're going to do with the omnibus special edition. I'll be
Yeah.
looking forward to that, man. That's going to be awesome.
So my books don't make money, and I don't ever want them really to make money because like this is a hobby and something that I just do for fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna have to ask for like Christmas presents. Be like, hey, donate to the Kickstarter so I can get more internal art because there's just so many cool artists.
Oh,
in
gosh,
this
dude,
sphere. John Brown, and then I believe there's another gentleman named Felix Ortiz who
Oh,
I
yeah.
have absolute awe of his work, and I
Yeah.
found another couple artists on Twitter that I'll try and get some individual pieces from. So I would hope to have at least 10 to 15 unique art pieces for the omnibus edition because the art is my favorite part.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Here we go, Audrey. I need some Titan trading cards. That would be a sweet perk to have with it. That would be awesome.
I need to find someone who does like Magic the Gathering art and hire them. Just get that done.
That would be perfect for them. That would be awesome. And Gabrielle is looking forward to reading Revised Lost Souls. So there you go. She's in.
Gabby is now part of the team. She was the first beta reader for Purity, and so that's the novella for Hollis. So
that's cool.
Sent it through a developmental edit, edited it a couple times. Gabby took a look at it, gave me her feedback, and a lot of it was just a little bit more detail so that if I hadn't read Lost Souls or Eternal Dreams, I know a little bit about the world and you can level set with me. And so that's always just so good to know from the writer's perspective because I live in this world. I've been in this world since January 22nd, 2021. So we're roughly 4.5 years living in this world with these characters. I don't always remember that this might be the first time someone's ever seen this.
Right. Yeah, that's true. I'm sure that's tough when you're like ingrained in it and it's a big part of your thought space all the time. But yeah, some people have no idea when they're first diving in. So I get that. All right. So we're going to switch gears a little bit in a second. But before we do, I got a question for you, Ryan. Do you like dad jokes?
I love dad jokes, but I have been just fearful of the riddles because I feel like I'm not going to get it. So,
don't worry, the riddle's coming later. Don't you worry. Let's start off with a good dad joke. That's to come. This is the first.
Feeding my anxiety.
Don't worry. All right. Are you ready for your first dad joke? Here we go. You ready? All right. So the other day, my wife asked me if I'd seen the dog bowl. I said I didn't know he did.
Man, my favorite response that me and my wife just randomly say when we hear a keyword is like, "You're telling me a shrimp fried that rice?"
I like that. Oh, that's good. I'm gonna remember that one. All right, I got one more for you. I heard this one, and I'm saving that for when Ryan comes on, just because it's so dumb that it's like a long form dad joke, and I think you're gonna appreciate it. All right, here we go. You ready? Okay, so I went to the grocery store the other day. I bought 2 eggs, a banana, and 3 apples. I go up to the cashier, and I go to check out, and she starts scanning my stuff, and she says, "Oh, you must be single." And I'm like, "How'd you know?" And she said, "'Cause you're ugly." Oh, I like that one a lot. Because you're thinking, all right, where's this going to go with the apples and the banana? And then, no, because you're ugly.
It's a perfect anti-joke. It's something a 5-year-old would say.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
They would just walk straight up to you. You're single, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you know that? I don't think you're very pretty. Oh my
I don't think
gosh.
anyone would like you. Oh man. That's good. It's
The
good.
brutal honesty of a
Oh,
toddler.
oh, it is. It's painful, but they're so cute. It lessens the blow slightly. But then you think, well, the kids that age are super honest, so that's not good. But what do you do? You know.
Who
All right.
else hasn't been telling me the truth?
Yes, that is true. All right. Now, don't worry. Just in case you thought maybe I didn't have them, these are coming later. Don't you worry. Just wanted you to get a glance at those.
A man could hope and dream and then have them dashed in front of him.
I am probably coming close to the end of these cards, though, so I'll have to get something else. The next time when the novella comes out, I'll probably have something different. So this will probably be the last one of these you ever do, if that makes you feel better.
I feel like the next pack is going to be even harder, so we'll get it through. Get through it on this one.
That's right. All right, so let's talk about your writing process and see if some things have changed since from book one. So there's usually a few things that readers like to know that authors do. So the first one, there's a spectrum of pantser where you just sit down and write, no planning, no outlining, no plotting. You just go and see where the story takes you. Versus the other end, a plotter, they don't do anything unless it's on their pages and pages of outlines, and they stick to it no matter what. Where do you fall in there? Do you cheat towards one side? Are you in the middle? Has it changed with book two?
Yes, it did change with book two.
Mm.
In book one, I've described myself as a planner,
Yeah.
someone who knows where his story is going to start and end, know all the characters and know the plot. But for book two, I became an architect. It became
Ooh, I
even
like that.
more expansive and more detailed and more outlines. You could theoretically take the outline of book two, give it to somebody, and they could probably write the same book just in their
Wow.
style and have all
Okay.
the same things happen because of how detailed I got in the outline. Because it helps me when I'm actually doing the act of writing prose.
Yes.
I don't have to use as much creative muscle on scene progression and layout. I can use my creativity on word choice and movement and description, because description is something that I struggle with. And so if I know how the characters are moving and interacting and progressing throughout a scene before I even start, I can devote that creative energy to making the scene as vivid and vibrant as possible.
I like that. Very cool. Now, so did nothing change from that outline to the book? Like no character things? You kind of stuck to it because it was so detailed?
Because of the way that I outline, I would call it a sculpting outliner. And so let's say when you're sculpting something out of clay, you start with a metal frame to give it structure, and then you
Yeah.
add clay around all of that. I build the outline start to finish, and then I add stuff in between. And so before I even start writing, 95% of what is going to be the story's progression is already in the outline. Now, there will be something that inevitably changes that causes a plot hole to be needing to be fixed later on that changes it. But what I try and do is I try and mold the scene that I already created to fit with whatever I added earlier in the book, so that it's more powerful. Anytime I make a change, I want it to make the story more powerful, more enjoyable, more sad, which I tend to do on occasion,
You do.
more emotionally impactful.
You do a good job with the emotional stuff, man. Like the first one you did a lot with well, I guess in both you kind of do a lot with grief, but in different ways. Whereas and I don't know, it's just really well done. I feel like you nailed it in both books. It's too hard to talk about it without ruining anything. But anyway, you just do a good job with character being in their head, and each character is dealing with the same emotion of grief, but they deal with it in different ways. And I think you did a great job of that. That felt very different and personal to each one of them. Which, yeah, and I agree with Audrey. That's one of your goals, is to make readers cry, because
If I have
you do it,
to,
man.
if I have to cry while I'm writing it, you damn sure that you're going to cry while you read it.
I got a little dusty a few times when I've read both your books. Trust me.
When we get to the spoiler section, hopefully in a little bit,
Oh,
howdy,
yeah.
Britton. We
Britton,
can
what's
talk
up,
about the
man?
voicemails.
Oh, yes. 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 That got me. That got
Good.
me. We'll talk about it.
That did exactly what I wanted it to do.
Yeah, that was definitely one of the times when I had my phone ready, like, you son of a gun. Grifton.
Only
Cry when
geometry
reading
too.
geometry too. I don't fuck there, man. My son is just getting to that age. He's 15 and he's a sophomore, and he's like, "Dad, I need your help on this math." And I'm like, "Ooh, you're just about to that time when you are going to be smarter than I am at math, because high school math, woo."
It's time for you to pay some of your coworkers in the math department to help out.
Exactly. Yeah, it's and then they teach it different now too, which is, and you have to show the work in the way that they teach now. So like, even if I could help him, if I show him the way I learned, it's going to be wrong, even if the answer is right, which is crazy. But what do you do? You know, that's
We
how
just do our
math
best.
is. You just do. Yeah, I like that. Just do our best. All right. So next question: Do you? Um, so we can kind of do the same thing with all these. Answer it for book 2 and talk about if it's different or the same as book 1. But do you set writing goals like per day, per week? Like, I need to hit this many words per day. I need to hit this many words per week. Do you have like a set time and schedule where you write, and you every day? Do you have a certain place you like to write? Or are you kind of like, I got to get this done. I'm going to write whenever, wherever. If I write 100 words today and 1,000 words tomorrow, it doesn't matter as long as I get it done. Where do you fall with all that?
I would say it is different for each stage of the process. When I am planning, outlining, building the document that is prior to starting the actual prose of the novel, that is what I like to call serendipitous inspiration. And so, if I'm in the shower, if I'm on a plane, if I'm in the car, if I'm at home, my wife will say something and I'll be like, pause. I got to go write that down because it's going to go somewhere in scene 42.
Right.
And so, when I am outlining, there is no, I have to, there is no, I sit down and do something. It is, I obsessively think about this story every single day. And so, I don't have to kind of force myself to do anything. It's just, keep living in this world, keep marinating it, keep thinking about this. What would happen if this? What would this character do? What's this motivation? If this character did this, how would this character react? And would that be something that would be beneficial to the story? And so I just let the outline um, build itself through just constant attention to it. But when I start writing prose, I like my office chair. I like my office keyboard. I like my office monitor. I like all the lights off. I like my instrumental music to the right. I like my headphones on, and I don't like to be talked to. And so I tell my wife, hey, I'm going to go write. Don't talk to me for the next 30 minutes. And sometimes I'll let that sneak to an hour. And then sometimes she'll be in the bath, and I'll let that sneak to 2 hours. And I would say I don't try and do a hard and fast word count goal, because I did that once in book 1 with NaNoWriMo. It was like try and write 50,000
Oh,
words
yeah.
in a month.
Mm-hmm.
I set a goal of 30,000 because it was my first time ever doing it.
Yeah.
That was by doing math right, 1,000 words a day. 1,000 words a day is kind of a lot.
Yeah.
And so I made the goal, but the writing wasn't very good because I was just trying to write really, really fast.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And so during the writing process, it's get to a state where I can write high quality words, no matter how many it is per day, no matter how many it is per week. The better first pass you have, I think the better the editing process is, because I don't like editing.
Yeah, that sounds like the least fun part of writing to me, would be the editing. So
Mhm.
whatever gets you out of that the most, that's good. All right. The other question people usually always like to know is um, when you're writing, and maybe it changes depending on the scene or the book or whatever, but um, do you like to have certain ambiance? Do you like to have certain like music in the background? Does it need to be quiet? Or can it just be any noise because you just like background noise? What do you do for that?
I would say there's two types of music that I listen to. Um, One is while I am not actively writing words on the page, but I'm using it to get into the emotional state that I'm trying to get into. And so I'll listen to anything and everything that fits the scene.
Hmm.
So in book one, there was a lot of sad songs by a band called Dayseeker. And so I would listen to those songs and understand my feelings, understand the feelings of the artist, and try and channel those into the scene. And then when I got into actually writing prose, I put on sci-fi, like instrumental only. Very long, drawn-out tones, low volume, not a whole lot of upbeat things that can be distracting to the mind. Just an almost informal white noise, if you will.
Nice. Okay. I like it. All right. And last one is now what made me this is a good comment that Audrey has here. She was joking about the math, how you add math into your books. Now, you this has some fantasy elements, but also sci-fi. You're a smart guy, and there's some smart science in there. Um, so I'm curious, how do you do your research? I mean, there's some things that you can kind of because it's not nonfiction books, so you can kind of play with things and make them what you want. But some of it is I can tell is thought out and planned. So how do you do your research for some of the science and technology stuff?
Talking to people who are smarter than me. First and foremost is my wife. Um, in book one, if it's math, I did it, but if it relates to the body, she did it. And
Nice.
by did it, I mean educated me on the body processes, how they work, and pointed me in the right direction. She is the reason I can pronounce the word erythropoietin, and I know what that does in the bone marrow of the body and white blood cells, red blood cells, and oxygenation, and all that beautiful stuff that I just really don't know anything about. Um, and then another friend that I've made in the indie space is Ryan Patrick.
Mhm.
Um, Most
Super
people
smart
say
guy.
something like, "Oh, at least it's not rocket science." Ryan is a rocket scientist, for lack of a better word. He is incredibly smart, and he introduced me to the concept of magnetorquers. Like there's something that actually exists. I'm like, I would have had never in a million
Oh
years would I have
yeah,
stumbled upon this piece of technology,
that's
but it is
crazy.
exactly what I needed for the world that I created because of how metal and magnets interact, and combining Ryan's hard science with my wife's biological understanding of the human body created the magic system for the story. And I just kind of weaved those together. So I wouldn't say I took credit for any of the smart things that were in the book. I just kind of put one and one together.
Hey, some people can't do that, so that's good. All right, Owen. Just as a side note, Greg agrees. He says Dayseeker rocks.
They're so good. They're so good.
All right. In a little bit, we're gonna ask some questions about you outside of writing, so we can get to know you better. But first, you know what time it is.
It's pain and suffering
Dun,
time.
dun, dun. It's time for 1 minute mysteries. I need to come up with a jingle for that.
I would like to use my Ask the Audience lifeline, and
Of
I would
course,
like
of
the
course, you always
50-50.
have that. Yeah, 50-50. I like that. Man, let me make sure that we haven't done any of these. Hold on. Hold on. Okay, here we go. That one we have not done yet.
All right,
Mm.
ChatGPT, queue up, listen to the audio.
Mm. Yeah, and some of these are dumb. I'm trying to find some that aren't
He's
like.
trying to choose the hardest one to make me squirt the most.
You know it. All right, here we go. You have 3. Pick your poison. 1, 2, or 3.
Let's go with 3.
All right. This is going to be a good one. You're going to get this. I have a feeling. You're going to get this. All right. We'll ask. John Douglas has a good question, but you're in the zone. You're ready to go. We're going to ask that after we do this. All right, here we go. All right, chat, help him out. He's going to need it. He's nervous. Look at him. I've never seen him nervous before. Ooh, he's sweating. All right, here we go. Here's the case. All right. Hughes Bank has just been robbed. 2 miles from the bank, Lydia is racing down the highway. She has not committed a crime, but 3 police cars are hot on her trail. Lydia does not pull over and continues to speed through traffic, with the police following her every move. Where is Lydia heading and what is her profession? What's going on with Lydia? Do you want me to read it again?
Let's do it one more time. I got an idea, but we're gonna confirm.
Hughes Bank has just been robbed. 2 miles from the bank, Lydia is racing down the highway. She has not committed a crime, but 3 police cars are hot on her trail. Lydia does not pull over and continues to speed through traffic, with the police following her every move.
My initial guess was she was an ambulance driver.
That's a good thought. Not it. That's a good thought.
Okay.
Greg's got a guess for you. If you want to go with his.
Okay. So she's 2 miles away. The police are right behind her.
Yep.
She is also a police officer, part of the squad.
Ba-boom. She is a police officer heading towards Hughes Bank. Way to go.
See, in my world, all bank robberies are like armed shootouts because it's the Wild West.
I was gonna say, it didn't say anybody got hurt. Actually, they probably sent an ambulance anyway, right? Just to make sure.
Yeah, I'm just adding details.
Yeah.
Making the story more fun.
That's the author in you. You know, you're thinking of your characters. They don't go anywhere without somebody getting hurt or killed, right? If there's a heist, somebody's going down.
The goal is sadness.
Yes. Oh, man. Well, nice job, Greg. Thanks for the assist. And everyone, round of applause for Ryan. He was nervous, but he did it.
Thank you, Greg.
He answered it.
Well
done. And actually,
asking the audience paid off.
Yes, it did. And they're 1 minute mysteries. I think you solved it in less than a minute. From the second time I read it, when you were thinking. I think it was less than a minute.
Spectacular.
There we go. Nicely done. And there's your round of applause, too, from Audrey. There we go. John Stevenson's here. You just missed it, man. But we're glad you're here. All right. So now I got some questions for you. Are you ready? This is
Let's go.
hard-hitting journalism here. Not really, but it's fun. All right. So first question, we'll start off easy. What is your favorite color?
Red.
Red. Okay. Has that always been red? Is there a certain reason? Or just red is cool?
Red has always been fast, and so it's always just been cool. Blue is in there, but blue is like that secret favorite color that you don't tell people about because it's not as cool.
Right.
But red is cool. My first motorcycle was red, so it's always been red.
I like it. It's a good color. Yes, this is my TMZ portion of the program. I like that. That reminds me, I have to ask you John Douglas's question. He wanted to know where you get your ideas. So, like, when they come to you and then you talk to the smart people, how do you come up with them? They just pop into your head, or is it like? I mean, you talked about how it's serendipitous, right? It just kind of comes to you at different time.
I think I am very good at taking the what if this and this were put together and understanding the second nature effects of putting those things together. The origination for Lost Souls was what would happen if the government had Magneto's superpower.
I
And
like that.
so it's not something anyone's ever, personally, that I've never read, giving an institution the power or quirk or a mutation that superheroes or villains typically get ascribed. And so that is that. And then book two's was, what if the hero wasn't actually the hero and it was someone else who was the hero the entire time?
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the other character in Lost Souls' storyline came from, because they weren't originally in the book. And so that question,
That's wild.
when I was like, I want to keep doing this, I was like, how do I keep doing this? It's like, well, what if you watched Lord of the Rings and it wasn't from Frodo's perspective, it was from Boromir's perspective?
Mm.
And then you got to follow it from Frodo's perspective. Now that's probably the biggest spoiler I'll be able to tell people, but think
Yeah,
of that perspective.
yeah. That's very good. That's a good analogy. I like that.
You got to be really thinking hard if that's a
Yeah,
spoiler.
yeah. That's pretty good though. And all right, back to our questions. We talked about color. I got to point out Greg is Mr. Smart Guy now because he solved the 1 minute mystery. He wants to remind us blue is cool, red is warm. So when I said red is cool, I was mistaken. Thank you, Greg.
Struggle of English is yes, red is cool and blue is cool. But red is fiery and blue is boring.
Ooh, yeah, there you go. I like it. All right, next question. What's your favorite food? So if you were going to go out and get some food and you only had one choice, what's it going to be?
One choice. It's probably going to be, now if there's no budget, it's different.
Yeah,
answer.
no budget.
It would
No
be
budget.
A5 Wagyu steak with a red wine.
That sounds good. Have you had one of those?
Just one time,
Okay.
my wife and I went to Hawaii, and for her birthday, I treated us to a 10-course Japanese A5 steak tasting menu.
Oh,
It was
wow.
like $150 a person,
Oh,
but
that is
it's
so
the
good.
only meal 5 years after it's happened that I still remember the flavors from the meal.
Gosh.
And I
Oh,
can't
that
just
sounds
go
good.
to it because it's in Honolulu.
Right? Oh, man. No, it's not just up the street. I mean, although you should have some frequent flyer miles by now, shouldn't you?
Yeah, that's getting us even further across the world from all these frequent flyer miles.
Oh man, that's a good choice. That's a good choice. All right, what was your first car?
My first car was a white 1994 Chevy Silverado 1500 extended cab two-door truck with the bench seat.
Hold on, let me look this up. What year? 1994.
Yep.
White
Chevy Silverado,
Silverado,
two-door
1500,
extended
two-door.
cab.
Two-door. Let's see if we can find a picture of it. Bring back some memories here. All right. Does it look like this bad boy right here? Oh, come on, picture. Does it look kind of like that?
Yeah, it looked exactly like that.
Nice.
It wasn't the Z71 package, which was like the off-road 4x4.
Yep.
Just the standard Silverado.
It's the standard.
But yeah,
Okay.
that same body style, same color, same setup.
Nice. That's a nice truck. That was your first car?
So it was the truck that my dad bought the year that I was born.
Oh, wow.
So that they would have a safer vehicle to take me home from the hospital.
That's even more special.
Yeah, so I drove that for 4 years in high school and college. Got into an accident. Someone hit me and it kind of messed up the transmission. So my dad helped me get a 05 F-150. And then the Silverado stayed at the house. And we just sold it to a family friend a couple years ago. So it's still running and gunning on the streets of Texas somewhere.
That's pretty cool. So you can still see it if you really want to. You could ask them for a picture.
Mm-hmm. I may go buy it back one of these days.
Yeah, might as well. That's pretty cool. That's awesome. All right. Do you remember what was your first paying job that you had?
I was a lead lifeguard at the water park Hurricane Harbor in Arlington, Texas.
Okay.
And the reason I got that job is because I walked into an interview. It was like a job fair for lifeguards. So they had like 1,000 people there. But I walked in with black slacks and a purple button down. And the hiring manager, the manager of all the lifeguard, went to TCU, and TCU's color is just purple. She's like, I like that color. Let's go. You're next. And so,
You're in.
Instead of starting at $7.25, I started at $8 because of my purple button-down shirts.
That's a pretty big drastic change when you're that young and back then, man. Yeah,
I was working 12-hour doubles every week, so I was racking it.
You were racking it up. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
When you're 16, living at home, you're like $200 paycheck. You're rich.
Oh yeah, you're like, oh my gosh. Did you ever have to save anybody's life?
Multiple times.
Oh man, I bet a place like that.
I never had to do CPR, fortunately. I did have to pull a kid out of the lazy river because he jumped in when you're not supposed to. You're supposed to walk downstairs and hold over the railing, and he hit his head. So he was coming out of the lazy river bleeding. And then there was one time I saved a kid in a pool and jumped in, and both of my contacts fell out. So I'm swimming this kid to safety.
And you can't see anything.
Can't see anything. And I had to drive home to get new contacts because I had to work a double that day. So they were like, you need to be back here in 30 minutes. Were
you driving the truck then?
I was driving the truck.
Nice. Yep. See that worked together.
Man. There were many nights where I just rolled down the windows, turned off the radio, and drove home in silence after a 14-hour shift.
I bet,
12 degrees in July.
Oh man, but there's something to that in the summer, driving in an old car with the sound of the engines back then in the 90s and the wind blowing. Oh, there's something special to that for sure.
Very nostalgic.
Now, did you make it back in 30 minutes?
It was probably 34 minutes because it was 15 minutes to my house. I ran upstairs, got some contacts, and went straight back and sprinted.
Wow. So you did pretty good then. This was just like running across the two parking lots today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was exactly like that. I had driven this highway 1,000 times because it was the highway that I grew up on. So knew the exits, knew the yields, knew how to merge, knew how to get into the left lane, how to go fast, knew where to slow down, knew where to speed up, knew exit. So
all the tricks.
I had all of the insider knowledge to get home expeditiously but safely.
Nice. All right. Next question. Now we know that you love writing and it's something you do for fun and you're very good at it, but what's another hobby or talent that you have that we may not know about?
It has been a minute since I've done anything of large consequence, but I love woodworking.
Oh, nice.
My last project was a chessboard for my younger brother for Christmas last year.
Oh, that's so cool.
And it was a really special gift because when my dad passed away, he and I both had matching walnut slabs. He bought himself one and he bought me one because he knew I was getting into it. We were going to do different projects. And he never got to finish anything with his. And my wife was like, hey, Nick is getting into chess. You should make him a chessboard. I was like, I don't feel confident in my abilities to make something in the garage that has those perfectly 90-degree angles.
Right.
Because I was scared of messing it up. And then she said, you can use Dad's walnut. And from that sentence on, I was like a man on a mission and said, nothing is going to stop me. I don't care how much it costs. I don't care how long it takes. It's going to be perfect.
Yeah.
And it was. So I just would like to do it more, but it requires a lot of ramp up time and ramp down time to get everything set up and clean everything. And it's in my garage, so it's just been something that I have not given a lot of attention and time to lately.
Yeah, that's really cool though, dude. That's awesome. Do you have not for now, but for later, do you have a picture of the chessboard or that you made for
Yeah.
your brother.
It
Send,
might be on my Instagram,
okay.
but I know I do have some
Okay.
photos. I don't know if
Send
I
me
posted them.
send me a
Yeah, I'll
picture
send it over.
later. I want to see it. That's awesome, man. Did he love it? Your brother?
Absolutely loved
Oh,
it,
I
and
bet. That's so cool, man.
it was really hard because when I gave it to him, he's like, "Oh, this is so cool!" And then when I went to go and explain why it was special, I
Yeah.
just started bawling. I
Oh
was like,
yeah.
I couldn't
Oh,
even get
how
the
do you
words
not?
out.
Yeah.
So
Oh, that's awesome, dude. Very cool. All right. What are some of your favorite TV shows and movies? This can be lately, of all time, whatever you feel pop into your head to talk about.
I have been getting back into anime um, after a really long time being away from it. But One Piece is my number one favorite
Nice.
show of all time. TV shows. I don't watch a lot of TV. Like my wife and I have a nightly episode of whatever it is that we're
Oh yeah.
watching. The Pit,
Oh,
the
I heard
medical
that that's
drama,
really good.
was
Was
phenomenal.
it? Oh, I gotta
It
watch that.
is one singular shift at the hospital over 15 episodes.
That's
So it's a
insane.
15-hour shift for these doctors.
That's
And you get
wild.
to see the reality of what it's like to be a medical professional in our current hospital system
Mhm.
that's underfunded, understaffed, overpatiented. And my wife works in the hospital, so she is closer to it than I am.
Yeah,
And she was like, this is eerily accurate.
real. Oh man, that's wild. Yeah, I heard it was good. That makes me want to watch it even more. That's
I
wild.
highly recommend it. It's
Wow.
stressful. I don't like watching shows that like ruin my mood
Yeah,
because I just don't like
right.
being sad.
Yeah.
Um, what was the show on Netflix? Black Mirror? Is that
Oh yeah.
dystopian show? I can't watch
Mhm.
it. It just
Yeah.
depresses me. And I'm like, I don't want to watch real life 10 years from now.
Right. Yeah. No. That's fair.
Like, it gives me good ideas for my books, but I don't want
That's
to watch
true.
this.
That's true. That's true. Oh man. What about movies? Have you watched any good movies lately?
Haven't been doing a whole lot of movies just
Me
because there's
neither.
such long time commitment and we get home late. But we did go and see the 10-year anniversary of Interstellar in super IMAX
Oh
with
yeah.
the biggest
Oh.
screen and the speakers that just blow
Oh.
your ears out. And that movie is so phenomenal. It's so
Oh.
good.
Was it cool seeing it in IMAX like that? Oh,
Mhm.
I've never seen a movie in IMAX. That would be one to definitely do it with for sure.
So I think because it was so successful on the rerun of the 10-year
Mhm.
anniversary, I think there are some select theaters around the country doing Nolan
Oh yeah.
re-showings, and so you'll be
Okay.
able to watch all of his movies. And I'm assuming Interstellar will be in
Oh, it
IMAX.
definitely
I would
should
highly
be.
recommend it.
Yeah, I'll have to keep an eye out. JR Carell is here. What's up, man? Ooh,
Howdy, howdy.
Death and Robots. Have you watched that show?
I haven't. I've heard about it, but it
Yeah.
didn't feel safe to watch in front of other people. So I haven't started it. That was my perception of it.
I watched some of the first season. I got to get caught up on it. It's pretty good. It's pretty well done. I think you'd like it. Um, let's see. Last question. Well, this is a two-part question. First part is, as busy as you are with work, writing, all the other things, do you still find time to read? And two, what are some of your favorite books and authors?
So I have been actually reading more the more that I write.
That's awesome.
It has helped me rediscover my enjoyment for it. Um, I always loved reading nonfiction works because I struggle to
Mhm.
come up with the images when reading sci-fi fantasy, and so
Mhm.
I do audiobooks of sci-fi fantasy.
Nice.
Um, and so right now I'm reading A Court of Mist and Fury, which is Avatar Book 2.
Nice.
Just did a book club recently with a couple other friends of a book. It's a missing child mystery called A God in the Woods or God of the Woods.
Okay.
Um, that was interesting. And then keep this one on me. This one is called We May Dominate the World. It is a
Oh,
history
okay.
of American foreign policy
Oh,
from the Civil War to now. And it kind of is giving the historical background of how colonial countries try and fight over the outlying territories to establish military presence, control, and domination over a region. And it's just incredibly fascinating history to know how the United States formed as a country and interacted with the nations around us.
Interesting. I do love history, man. That's kind of cool. I feel like there's so much to learn from things like that, from the past and from the present. So that's pretty cool. You just carry that one around everywhere you go?
Yeah, that's my current carry, my everyday carry. And so I think I'm going to always have a nonfiction book read on me so that, like we talked about earlier, as I'm running for governor,
Yep.
I can just gorge on information that I think will make me a better leader, a better politician, a better man, while also still consuming science fiction and fantasy, because those stories teach you about humanity and your inner emotion, how to deal with other people in the world, and then your historical novels, your business novels, your self-help novels help you, I guess, maybe navigate the world a little bit better. So a 1-2 punch of fiction and nonfiction.
I love it. Awesome, man. All right. Well, I have to get my kids to bed, so we're gonna wrap it up here. I could talk to you all night, though, dude. It's a blast. Just like I think the first time we talked, I had no time constraints, and I think it went like 2 hours or over 2 hours or something.
One of these days, I'm going to have a dedicated 3-hour discussion just to see if we can.
I think we could.
It'll be a two-way chat, so I'll come with questions.
Well, then it definitely could. We didn't even get to spoilers, so I might have to have you back on for just a spoilery talk of both books. I think that would be fun. So, but in a second, I'll give you the floor one more time before we go, if there's anything you want to share. But I just want everyone to know that in the description down below, Lost Souls Book 1 and Book 2, Eternal Dreams, are both linked, as well as Ryan's website. So be sure to check those out. But the floor is yours, so you can share and talk about anything you want to before we go.
Absolutely. Thank you, Chris. Please follow me on social media. I am at Ryan Skeff on most all major social medias. The website down below is ryanskeffington.com. I am open to getting direct messages via email, website contact form, or any of the social medias. I deal with enough bots daily to get a message from a real human being would be the highlight of my day.
I love it. All right, awesome. Well, thanks again, dude. This was a blast. Anytime you want to come on, just let me know. I love chatting with you. I love having you on. We'll for sure do it with the novella and the next book, but anytime otherwise, I'd love to hang out with you. So, and we'll be talking soon. First time anybody's heard this, I've mentioned it. We are starting a fantasy football league with some booktubers, content creators, and indie authors. And Ryan and me are in that with some other awesome people. And we had one person that had to drop out. So we need one person. So if anybody is into football and wants to be in a fantasy league, reach out to me and let me know. Because it's going to be fun. We're going to do live chats once a month, talk about the league, books, football, and life. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So look forward to that. And I look forward to doing that with you, Ryan. All right. So everybody in the chat, thank you guys for being here. You guys were awesome. You were a fantastic live chat group. If you're watching on replay, we appreciate you. Don't forget to check the description for Ryan's books and his website. Everybody have a great night. I will be back here tomorrow night for Beast Friends Forever again with indie author Amos Wilson. So look forward to that. Keep an eye out on the socials for times and links and all that stuff. But I'll see you in the next one. And until I do, Beasties, as I always say, devour your TBRs, be brave, be beautiful to one another, and be beastly. We'll see you, everybody.